So nearly 5 years ago now, Donald Trump obstructed justice 10 times over. And now we're bumping up against a little something called the Statute of Limitations. We are literally in a countdown to justice. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So we're in a tough spot. America is in a tough spot. Democracy is in a tough spot. Now we will survive it, of this I'm sure, but there's no denying that we're in a tough spot. Because we know crimes have been committed by high government officials. We've seen the evidence, but we've seen no accountability. No justice. For example, Mark Meadows committed the crime, just as sure as I'm sitting here, committed the crime of contempt of Congress. And here we are on day 56 of the Mark Meadows indictment watch. Day 56. Nearly 2 months ago, Mark Meadows committed the crime of contempt of Congress, a crime for which you or I would have been promptly indicted, and nothing. Now, it may very well be, as I have said on air recently, as other legal analysts like Barb McQuaid have said on air recently, it may very well be the Department of Justice is investigating Meadows with a view toward more significant charges. You know, they may end up indicting him of a seditious conspiracy or of a conspiracy to defraud or commit offenses against the United States, what we call a 371 conspiracy. That may very well be. But for now, crickets with respect to Mark Meadows and all of the other high government officials up to and including Donald Trump that we know committed crimes against the United States. And a lack of transparency, not to mention a lack of accountability, but really primarily a lack of transparency, kills public confidence in our institutions. And I fear there may be another watch, another countdown of sorts we're going to have to begin. Not sure what we should call it, but something along the lines of a Donald Trump obstruction of justice statute of limitations watch. There was an opinion piece run in the Washington Post today by a former federal prosecutor named Randall Eliason, and I want to use that opinion piece as a jumping off point for today's video. The headline or the title of the opinion piece is "Yes or No on Mueller Report Criminal Charges. Don't let Trump just run out the clock." And that opinion piece begins, "It's time for the Biden Justice Department to issue a report on the Mueller report. There are multiple criminal investigations currently swirling around former President Donald Trump. The Justice Department is investigating the January 6th riot in Washington and attempts to overturn the 2020 presidential election, with Attorney General Merrick Garland vowing to pursue those criminally responsible at any level. Prosecutors in Georgia are investigating Trump's alleged efforts to interfere with the election results in that state. New York prosecutors are investigating Trump and his business for potential fraud. But nearly 3 years ago, Special Counsel Robert S. Mueller III presented an exhaustive report detailing almost a dozen instances of possible obstruction of justice by Trump in connection with the investigation of Russian interference into the 2016 presidential election. The 5-year statute of limitations on the first such instance, Trump's alleged request to then FBI Director Jim Comey to drop the criminal investigation of disgraced former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, that statute of limitations expires on February 14th. Other acts of possible obstruction soon will be similarly time-barred. But I have to say, the thought of the clock running out on our ability to hold Donald Trump accountable for his many felony obstruction of justice crimes, that thought is ominous and frightening and frankly sickening. Because you remember some of Donald Trump's obstruction of justice. First, he pressured Jim Comey to shut down the investigation into Trump's criminal associate, Mike Flynn. When Comey wouldn't, he fired Comey. And then Donald Trump invited the Russians into the Oval Office to celebrate his obstruction. I fired the nut job. The pressure is off. Little bit of good news, little bit of silver lining behind the big dark cloud that is Donald Trump. A sealed indictment stops the statute of limitations from expiring. Let me say that again. If there are sealed indictments out there, we don't know what we don't know, but boy, there should be sealed indictments. If there are sealed indictments out there, that will stop the statute of limitations from expiring. Generally speaking, let's put a pin in that. That's the pin of hope, and we'll come back to it in future videos. What I do know right now is that there is a desperate need for some transparency from our institutions. Not the kind of transparency that would damage ongoing investigations. We're not asking for that. What we're asking for is some assurance that the Department of Justice is working for us, for we the people, rather than a Department of Justice that is just going to let the statute of limitations expire without holding Trump accountable for his many obstruction of justice offenses. So yes, it may be time to start a new watch, not just, we had a Steve Bannon indictment watch, it took 22 days. We are presently involved in a Mark Meadows indictment watch on day 56. We may need to start a Donald Trump obstruction statute of limitations watch. Because justice matters. Friends, as always, thank you for tuning in to these Daily Justice Matters videos. As you may know, we are an all-volunteer operation. We're up and running 7 days a week, posting a legal analysis video every day. If you have an interest in more formally supporting our mission, our efforts, our content, if you want to become a member of Team Justice proper, you can go over to patreon.com, sign up to become a patron, and if you do, I will send you some Team Justice and Justice Matters stickers and a personal handwritten note of thanks, as well as you'll have access to all sorts of behind-the-scenes stuff about how we go about the daily business, the daily grind, the daily fight for justice here at Justice Matters. And thank you to the many of you who have gone over to patreon.com and are part of the team and are helping us do what we do here every day. You know, we consider ourselves just free agent democracy fighters. And as always, friends, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with y'all again tomorrow.